Yeah, hello there and welcome back, and let us continue with our lesson over here, and let's go to our feature dashboard over here, and we will be creating this feature. And let's go to the state first of all, and let's have a new file over here, and let's call this one as dashboard state over here dot the dot file. And let's create the class over here, dashboard state over here, and we will be using a freeze over here. So let's use a mixin over here with, and the dollar sign, the dashboard over here. And let's create a const of the factory constructor over here, and that will be of our dashboard state 2. And let's have the field over here that we will be adding on, and here we have to return, so that will be of the underscore the dash, it will be of a dashboard state itself, right? So once we have this class, let's go and create the class property, and that will be of the we just need a one state over here, that will be of the int and the page index over here. So we need to know the current page index on the bottom navigation. So for that, we'll just create one of the state that will require, that will be of the type of the int. And I'll annotate this class with the add the freezed over here, freezed defreezed, right? So freezed defreezed, and I guess we can import that one. I can't find that particular library, so let's try to import it manually. So import it, and that will be of the freezed over here, and that will be of the freezed annotation, and then we are good to go. And once we have that, let's go and add in the default value for this one. So let's add the default value, that will be of the let's say a default value each of the 0 over here. So index is always starting with the 0, so we'll just set the default value of that index is 0 over here. And once we have that, let's go and put in the part file, because we need to generate the code for this one. So that will be of the dashbo dashboard state, right? So dot the freeze dot the dot file. So once we have this file, we need to generate the code for that one. So let's go and generate the code. So Flutter pub run, then we need a build runner, and then it should be have a D to delete the conflicting outputs. So Flutter pub run build runner, it should be of the build, right? So build, the build, and then dash D. So let's go and generate the code for now. And once it is generating that particular the freeze file, let's go to the controller and let's create a new file. So this will be of the dashboard dashboard, the dashboard controller dot the dot file. So once we have that, let's go and create the class over here, and that will be of a dashboard dashboard, right, controller. And we will be using extending it with the qubit, qubit over here, and we need to pass in the state over here, that will be of the dashboard state that we just created. And let's go and import this qubit over here. So currently it can't be imported, so I guess we have to import it manually. So just import it the flutter underscore the block package over here, and then we are good to go. And there is some error, so let's go and fix that. Create a super call. So I guess we can just call it from out. So from here I'll just say super, right, and then just pass in the state over here, that will be of the state will be the dashboard state that we have. and I can just make this one const because we have a default value, so we don't have to create the initial state that we need. So initial state that we already have defined in our dashboard, that will be of a default value will be of the 0 for this particular page index. So you can see how the phrase is helping us to generate all of the code, right? So it's really less code that you write when you're using the phrase itself. And then on the controller, we are good to go. So now we just need to create the functionality. So let's go over here and let's create the functionality that we require. So that will be of the void, and set the let's say a page index over here, and currently we'll require pass in the value over here, let's say of int value, and we need to update the state. So how we can update the state using the qubit is we need to emit a new value over here, right? So let's go and emit over here, and then the state. So in this state, let's say we have a state dot the copy with, and this comes, the copy with functions comes with the phrased file that we have generated, right? So if you go to the phrased file, it has generated a lot of the file for us, and if you take a look closely, here you will find that particular function that has been created for you. And let's go back. I guess all of those you can do string operator, and all of those has been overwritten for you, so you don't have to create all of this by yourself. And so let's go back over to our the controller over here, and in the copy with, I'll just pass in the page index that we have over here and the value that we are passing in. So once we have that, it should update and emit a new value for us, which means that it's going to update it, right? Update the page index or the state over here, and whoever is watching that particularly this particular index value that we have, which is a page index, so that will be notified. So when we emit a new value, wherever we are watching that, right, so that will be updated, and this way we will have a reactive way over here. So once we have this controller and the state over here, so we have created controller and then the state, so both of those are ready for us to use. And now let us go back to our dashboard over here. So let's go to the UI, and let's go to the widget, and let's create a new file over here. That will be of our bottom bottom nav bottom navigation, and let's call this one as a bottom navigation widget dot file, and let's create a file over here, or the class that, let's take the stateless and bottom, so bottom bottom, sorry, the that one, so it should be of a bottom navigation, right? So let's create a bottom nav bottom navigation widget over here, and once we have that, let's import this one. Let's import the package, and over here we need to return since we are using a material tree, so let's return the navigation bar navigation bar. And once we have that navigation bar, let's set navigation navigation bar, and over here let's try to add in the required field. So first of all, we'll require some of the parameters. So selected not the first one should be of a selected index, so let's just say for now hard code it to 0 for now. Later we need to get it from our controller, right? And then let's have the on destination selected. We need to create the function for this one, so let's call this one, we'll pass in the value over here, and that value let's go and create a function for now. So let's go down over here and let's have a function, let's say a void, and let's call this one as a on item selected, and that should be fine over here. And let's go and create that one over here, And for now, let's go and call that function from here on item selected. So that should be fine over there. And the next thing is we need a destination. So destination requires the list of the widgets, and for that we'll require an GATR navigation destinations. So let's add in the icon and the label for it. So icon and the label. So icon will be for now, let's just give a const, or I can just say I will require the icon, and then icon will be of the icons. So it's just the icon, and the icons dot, I'll say just the home for now. And then in the label, let's have the home for now, and then just make this one as the const over there, and let's copy this one. We need a 2 over there, and let's set this one as a setting, and this one let's change this one to setting setting over there. So we have a 2 destination, one is of the home and one is of the setting over here. And for that, let's go to the on item selected first of all. And in the on item selected, we need to select the item. Whenever we select the item, we need to update our state. That will be of the dashboard state. So let's go down over here, and I think we will require index or the value passing. So I'll just say int index over here. Let's pass in the value, and I'll require a switch case over here. And in the switch case, whenever this each of the index that we are getting in, based on that index, I need to, let's say if the value is of the 0, then I need to, let's say, navigate somewhere. And I have this. So currently we don't have set up the go router, so let's just keep it for the simple case. But later when we have the go router, we need to configure it again. So once we have the case 1 and case 2, so currently we just have a 2 item. One, this is of index 0 and this is of index 1. So we'll just set that 0 and the 1 case over here. And then the default, currently we don't have anything, so I can just throw from here an error. Let's throw an exception, and let's call this one as no item found, and that should be fine. So once we have that item over here, and we need to pass in the so let's remove the function call, and that should be good to go. So once we have that over there, and let's wrap this one. So currently we need to get that the state over here, right? So we need the page index. So for that, let us go over here and let us wrap this one with the block, let's say a block builder. So let's provide it. So we haven't provided any block over there, so let's wrap this one over with the block provider. First of all, we need to provide a block over here, and that block will be of our dashboard controller. So let's create that over here. So I need to create a dashboard controller over here, and I guess I need to import that, right? So once we have imported, we are good to go. So now we have an option to we have created a dashboard controller, and we should be able to use the page index. So let's wrap this navigation bar again with the block builder over here. And now we need to provide a 2 type over here. One is of the block and one is of the state. So the block will be of our dashboard controller, and then we have a dashboard state over there. So now we get the state, right? We are getting the dashboard state over here, and also the build context over there. So now I can get the value from the state over here, and then dot the I have the page index. So now I can pass in over there. And similarly on the down over here, we need to pass in the index, and then I also need to pass in the, let's pass in the build context over here. build context, and that will be of the context over here. And let's go on to the top over here. Now we need to pass in that particular value that will be of the let's say we pass in the context that we are getting from here. So this context is what we are getting from here, and then we need to pass in the value of here. So if you take a look over here, and let's go down, and if you are wondering why did I pass in the build context over here, right? And that should be because like the build context of this one. So here you have a widget build context that is coming over here, right? So whenever we create a call the build function, we get in the context that is a build context over here. But this build context doesn't hold this particular dashboard controller, which is of our the block or the qubit that we have, right? So in order to walk over here with the qubit, in order to work with the qubit over here, we need that build context. Why we need is we need to call the function, right? So let's go down over here, and I need to call the context over here, and I can read. So I just need to read the value because I don't want to watch it. So read means I just want to update or call some functionality or update the value, right? So here I need to call the dashboard controller, and then I can just call in the function which is of select the page index, and then I guess I can just pass in the value. So let's just call this one as a value itself over there. And once we have that, now we are updating the we are calling the function in our controller. So if you take a look, we have a controller, and that has the function to set the page index, and that will update the or emits the new value of our state, right? So let's go down over here, and we are doing the function call over here, and that's because we are passing in the context over here. If we use the build context from this one, then it's not going to work because it cannot find this particular controller. So you will be getting like the provider not found exception and all of this stuff. And that's the little bit of the problem when you are using the provider or the block or the qubit, and both of them depend on the the block also, Flutter block also depend on the provider. So you will be always getting a provider not found exception. And in that case, what we need to do is we need to pass in the explicit build context. That is what we are getting. So whenever we are creating a block builder over here, we get a new context. So this context or this context holds this particular dashboard controller. Other than that, it doesn't hold. So if you create over here, that means this build context has that particular dashboard controller. So we need to pass in over here. So in order to able to get it from here, otherwise you will get a provider not found exception. So I guess once we have done all of this, we can go to the dashboard controller. Sorry, not the controller. Let's go to dashboard screen, and here I just can pass that particular our dashboard, right? So BOTT button navigation widget that we have created. So let's grab that one, and let's just make this one as a const for now. And I guess so our dashboard feature is ready. We don't have much thing to configure over here. We just need a button navigation, and that button navigation has all of the functionality to update the state of our button navigation. So whenever we navigate the page, we should be able to update the we should be able to navigate over here. Currently we don't have the navigation setup. We need to set up our RiverPod. And in case if you are wondering how did I have the option to create the block provider or the block builder, so I have the code snippet over here. So if I click over here and I get a code snippet over here to create a block builder, block selector, block listener, and all of those stuff. So if you are wondering from where I'm able to do that, or the code snippet that I have generated, you can go and install the extension called the BLOC. So you can install this extension, and once you have that, it will be available for you to generate a code. So you have a code snippet over here, and So that's all, I guess, and you learn how to create a block provider. Using this block provider, we provide the our controller over here, and also we have a block builder that will generate us the whenever you require some state, right? So we need that particular block builder, and then we have the state available for us over here. And I guess that's all right over here, and we will meet up in the next lecture. Till then, have a great day.